Good morning, everyone. Today is November 1st. Happens to be my birthday, but we're still going to work on the Sn95 drift stang project. Last night, Halloween, we went ahead and wired up the new coolant gauge that finally arrived. Wasn't very exciting, so I'll just show you what we did. So the old gauge we had was an old mechanical one, if you remember, that would run the wire through there. We have now got a new electric Bosch one, where this wire in nice loom runs all the way through the firewall hull. Made sure all the fluids were good, coolant's good, powering steering good. I put some Motul R660 brake fluid in it. It was just a little bit low, so we'll top that back off. Oil was good, so we did that, so the gauge runs right through there. The reason I want to check all the fluids, we're going to go ahead and start it and make sure it doesn't overheat. I don't think it will, but at least now we have a gauge that actually shows us a correct temperature to make sure that it's good. We still have to do a lot of wiring. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. This runs in through here, so I'm not too sure where that goes yet, but at least I'm going to get this off the battery and then potentially drive this today. So we're going to see what happens. I'm going to at least get it started up on the lift, put it in gear, get the gears spinning at least, make sure everything is good, and then we'll check underneath for any major leaks, and then we'll make sure it's not overheating. So let's get into the car and get this thing started. Now that we're in the car, this is where we're going to put it. Going to mount it just like that once we're fully set up so we can see it. And then my idea is to have the oil pressure there as well, but when you're driving, at least we have a good idea of what the coolant temp is. So let's get this thing started, make sure it's in neutral. We got the heat on full blast, we'll turn that down. All right, now that we got it started, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the gauge. As you can see, it is lit up, so at night it's not too bright, but it's also not too dark. I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit and then we'll put it in gear, let it roll up and check everything. Looks like this thing is pretty low on fuel. I know this isn't the most accurate, but it has been getting lower and lower, so I'll probably run to the gas station with the gas can, at least get 2-3 gallons of 93 in here, and then we'll check everything out from there. So let's get it running and see if we see any major leaks or anything. It might smoke a little bit, still get some of that brake clean off, but other than that, it should be good to go. So far running really good. If you can hear it, you can hear like an air leak somewhere from inside of here. That's obviously a vacuum leak or some sort of leak causing the high idle. Not exactly sure where that's from, but I'll find that. So far underneath, there's no new leaks so far, which is good. Let's check the coolant gauge. We're almost at 180. The heat is on just to play it safe, so far I'm pretty happy with that. Start calling this thing the neighbor hater with how loud it is, but let's get see how loud it can get. Runs pretty good, sounds pretty loud, but you can see it's smoking all the stuff off that we sprayed, so it's gonna do that probably for a little bit, but we'll get it out on the street here soon, hopefully, if everything seems like it's gonna be okay for a quick test drive. All right, I had to shut it off. It got up to like 200, not too hot, but also not cold where it needs to be. Taking a look here, we know there was an issue with the thermostat. They weren't running one. This top hose is has some pressure in it again, but it's not very warm. So it seems like we didn't bleed all the air out again. So we're gonna go ahead and let it cool all the way down, and then we're gonna bleed it again. We didn't get all the air out. So I'm gonna leave the electric fan running, cool it down a little bit, and then we will bleed it again. So I'll catch you back up once we're bleeding one more time. So we're gonna have to let it cool down. All right, so it's been a little while. I've bled it quite a lot, looked into a few things. I found one thing that I found pretty interesting. So as we know, this car has a lot of electrical problems that we are gonna continue to go with, but I think right now with how the battery is and all the draw and everything that it has, we have a pretty decent problem with the whole electrical in general, so nothing's really working as it should. So if we come over here to the gauge and I power it on with the key, reads just below 150, right? And if I turn the fans on, the light almost goes out. But here's the weird thing. So if I'll keep the fans on. So we're right at 150. Like, to the T150. If I go ahead and start the car that has not ran in about an hour. Starts right up, but now we're immediately almost 180. Immediately from just turning it on. So obviously there's something not right there. It's not gonna jump 30 degrees in 2 seconds or less. So I just don't think that gauge is reading accurately. I don't think the car is overheating. I mean, I had it burping and idling for 25-ish minutes. The coolant, even in the overflow bucket that I'm using to burp, didn't get that warm at all. And the hoses don't seem that bad, and the car runs fine. So I don't think it's overheating. I just don't think we have an accurate gauge due to all the electrical gremlins, and it's an electrical gauge, it's not mechanical. I wanted electrical because it's easier and it looks better, but I think in this case it might have been worse for us where a mechanical wouldn't have these problems. But I don't think the car is overheating. I've let it burp, so I think we're good there. So that is the one good news. So I think for the cooling system, we still have a sensor problem due to the electrical system, but I think the cooling system is finally fixed. It's burp, thermostat's in there, it's not leaking, everything is good. So I'm super happy with that. I think I'm gonna call it for today. Because next time I have to tear all through the electrical, we're gonna have to take everything out, do new battery terminals, look at all the stuff in the dash, rerun the fan wires. I want to get that done because that draws a lot of power, as you saw. So that's it for today. Well, we did tackle a good cooling system problem that I think we pretty much resolved. I'm going to let this run for a few more minutes, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.